Elder Tong Xian's expression was respectful as he held the rainbow dragon pin in his hand. His heart was filled with excitement. This rainbow heavenly god pin had not been used by the Gu clan for 1,000 years, but it was going to be unsealed. Xun'er. Elder Tong Xian held the rainbow heavenly god pin in his hand as he looked at Xun'er. Xun'er nodded when she saw this, and then she shut her eyes. Elder Tong Xian's expression became grave when he saw Xun'er nodding. A monstrous aura surged from his body in all directions, after which the hand holding the rainbow heavenly god pin tightened. His arm danced and numerous mysterious lines began to rapidly form under his palm. Following the dancing of the rainbow heavenly god pin, numerous rainbow-colored symbols began to appear on Xun'er's smooth forehead with every stroke. This rainbow was an extremely brilliant color. It was many times stronger compared to the rainbow color on the forehead of the green-clothed man. The divine grade and the 9th grade was the difference of 1 grade. However, there was still an extremely great difference between the two. The expression of Elder Tong Xian became more grave with every stroke of the Rainbow Clan tattoo. The hand he was holding the heavenly god pin in involuntarily trembled. The do chi within his body swiftly flowed like floodwater. What a frightening heavenly god pin! No wonder no one has the qualification to touch it in 1,000 years. From just this degree of do chi exhaustion, anyone without the strength of a do shang would be sucked dry. Elder Tong Xian's expression sank as he sensed the rapidly diminishing do chi in his body. He quickly focused his mind and controlled the perfect orbit of the pin. Chi. The rainbow heavenly god pin danced above a spot half an inch or so in front of Xun'er. Numerous rainbow lines continued to appear on her forehead. Who? This drawing of the clan tattoo in front of a countless number of gazes continued for nearly 10 minutes before it was finished. After the final stroke landed, a cold sweat involuntarily surfaced on Elder Tong Xian's face despite his great strength. Although he was exhausted, his eyes were still filled with his excitement. It's done. Xun'er's tightly shut eyes were slowly opened after hearing the voice beside her ear. The moment her eyes were opened, the Rainbow Clan tattoo on her forehead suddenly emitted a powerful rainbow glow. Plop! Under this rainbow light, quite a number of powerful clan members from the Gu clan were unable to endure the pressure that came from deep within their souls. A plop sounded as they knelt for Xun'er with wild and heated faces. Ha ha! The Rainbow Clan tattoo has finally appeared in our Gu clan after 1,000 years. An elderly laugh vaguely sounded from the distant sky when the rainbow light erupted. The laugh was extremely faint and was fleeting. If someone's ears weren't sharp, the voice would be impossible to detect. It is unexpected that even this person has been disturbed. Elder Tong Xian was slightly startled when he heard this unusually old voice. He immediately bowed to a certain part of the sky. The rainbow light only lasted for a moment before it completely withdrew into the Rainbow Clan tattoo on Xun'er's smooth forehead. The clan tattoo shook before gradually disappearing. This clan tattoo would not appear on the surface. It would only appear when its owner intentionally summoned it. Let's go. There is nothing to see. In time to come, Xun'er will definitely surpass everyone within the clan. The green-clothed man on the towering tree in the distance smiled when the rainbow light scattered. He merely smiled and was about to turn around when his eyes suddenly turned to a seat. The eyes of the somewhat pale-looking Xiao Yin were thrown to his position. Ha! Have we been discovered? What sharp senses! The green-clothed man smiled when he saw Xiao Yan's eyes, after which his toes pressed on the top of the tree before his body drifted and withdrew. Within a couple of flashes, he had disappeared. The silver-robed man and the burly man followed close behind. There are indeed as many experts as there are clouds in this Gu clan. The Do Di bloodline is indeed worthy of stirring the envy of others. Xiao Yin frowned as he watched the mysterious green-clothed man leave. This person should be a member of the Gu clan. However, the pressure that he left for Xiao Yin was even stronger than Gu Yao. Let's leave too. There is nothing interesting in the subsequent ceremony. Xiao Yin stood from his seat, cupped his hands, and bid Meng Tianqi goodbye. After which, he smiled at Xun'er in the square. He led the little fairy doctors group. They turned and headed back using the route they had used to come. This little fellow has likely suffered a serious injury. Although Elder Tongxian has healed his external wounds, that silent destruction finger of Gu Yao is quite an overbearing Tian Class Do skill. Meng Tianqi did not stop Xiao Yin as he watched the group leave. He naturally understood that it was a narrow victory despite Xiao Yin having emerged victorious this time around. Since the ceremony is over, I shall take my leave first. Xun'er was also worried about Xiao Yan's injuries when she saw Xiao Yan's group leave. She did not wish to continue remaining in this place. After uttering these words to Elder Tongxian, she ignored his response, and her body chased after Xiao Yan's group in front of many gazes with a flash. Elder Tongxian helplessly shook his head when he saw Xun'er leave as she pleased. He bitterly laughed. Looks like the divine bloodline is not enough. The Xiao clan is still better. They don't need to do anything, yet they have been able to obtain a daughter-in-law with a divine bloodline. A figure that was covered in a black robe at a corner of the square looked at Xun'er's distant back with flickering eyes. There was a faint, chilly glint within them. It is unexpected that the Gu clan has produced a divine bloodline. Looks like she will be a great enemy of my Hun clan in the future, and she might even disrupt the plan of my Hun clan. Looks like I need to quietly find an opportunity to finish this person off. After experiencing Xun'er's bomb-like ceremony, the subsequent ceremonies had difficulty stirring the excitement of others. Hence, Elder Tongxian had withdrawn, leaving the remaining people to the other elders. At this moment, Xiao Yan's group had returned to the bamboo house within the mountain forest. The quiet atmosphere caused everyone to sigh in relief after such a busy day. A blood-red sun hung on the edge of the sky in the evening, unleashing its last heat on the land. Creak! A tightly shut bamboo door was gently pushed open. The little fairy doctor gently walked in, after which, she looked at Xiao Yin on the bed. His eyes were currently open, so she smiled and asked, "How are you?" "There is nothing serious. I have only exhausted myself too much. The silent destruction force that had been transmitted into my body has been removed with Xun'er's help." Xiao Yin smiled and nodded. At this moment, his expression was already much better after a couple of hours of rest. "Ugh, I should not be so miserable. However, it is becoming more difficult to leap between the levels." Xiao Yin sighed as he spoke. Following the increase in his strength, the ability of his fighting across the levels had become more limited. After all, every star after the 5th star of the Dozun class was an enormous gap. If it was an ordinary Dozun, one would not be able to defeat an opponent of a higher level. Moreover, the opponent that Xiao Yin had faced this time around was a ferocious individual who possessed a Tian Class Qi method and Tian Class Do skills. Xiao Yan's ability to emerge victorious in such a fight was quite a surprising thing. The little fairy doctor smiled and nodded. She said, "This is only natural. If you were at the same level as Gu Yao, it is likely that he would not even have the ability to retaliate." Xiao Yin was noncommittal in the face of teacher little fairy doctor's words. He asked, "Where is Xun'er?" "She has gone to the Gu clan. I heard her say that this heavenly tomb will open in 2 days." The little fairy doctor spoke. Heavenly tomb. Xiao Yan's heart pounded when he heard this name. Part of the reason why he had come to the Gu realm this time around was to head to the tomb left behind by his ancestor Xiao Xian, and from what Hua Xian had said, this tomb was in the heavenly tomb. In other words, he needed to enter the heavenly tomb before he could enter Xiao Xian's tomb. Xiao Yin involuntarily frowned when he thought of this. The relationship between him and the Gu clan was not in a good place. Hence, he was a little worried that the Gu clan would intervene and stop him from entering. The main hall of the Gu clan was well lit. Numerous elderly figures were seated around a wide meeting table. The atmosphere was solemn and stern. Next, we will discuss the matter of the opening of the heavenly tomb. Everyone knows that there are a total of 16 people who can enter the heavenly tomb. Each of the 8 ancient clans possess 2 spots. However, no one from the Ling clan has come this time around. Hence, 2 spots have become vacant. According to the rules, our Gu clan can use these 2 spots. In other words, our Gu clan will have 4 spots. Elder Tong Xian's eyes overlooked the entire hall from a spot on the meeting table as he spoke. However, there should be 6 people that our Gu clan has arranged to enter the heavenly tomb. In other words, we are lacking 2 spots. An elder softly spoke. Aren't the spots for the Xiao clan always used by our Gu clan? There are just enough if we add them. Gu Qian exchanged looks with a couple of elders beside him before opening his mouth to speak. However, the Xiao clan has Xiao Yin. He has come this time around. If this is the case, an elder hesitated. The Xiao clan has already declined to such an extent. It is no longer ranked among the ancient clans. There is nothing wrong in excluding it. I think that Xiao Yin should be able to understand this. That white-haired elder Gu Shan spoke in a calm voice. Some of the elders involuntarily nodded when they heard his words. However, Elder Tong Xian frowned. Bang! The tightly shut door emitted a bang. It had been shook open while Elder Tong Xian was frowning. The guards at the door were just about to furiously cry out when they suddenly knelt down under a rainbow glow. Elder Gu Shan. Ever since the Xiao clan left the Central Plains, the Gu clan has been occupying their spots. Currently, someone from the Xiao clan has finally come, yet you refuse to return this spot. Aren't you going a little overboard? The rainbow glow lit up the large hall, spreading to all the elders within. At the same time, a cool voice suddenly sounded within this large hall. The expressions of quite a number of elders changed when the rainbow light covered the hall. Their bodies involuntarily trembled. If they did not possess a great strength, the pressure from the bloodline would likely cause them to kneel down like those guards. Xun'er. Some of the elders bitterly laughed. Who else in the Gu clan, other than Xun'er, possessed such a bloodline pressure? A beautiful figure slowly walked into the large hall under the eyes of many, the rainbow light spreading from her brows. Ugh! Xun'er, hide the clan tattoo first. Elder Tong Sun helplessly sighed. He glanced at Elder Gu Shan, whose expression was a little ugly, as he spoke. After hearing Elder Tong Xian's words, the rainbow light that was being emitted from between her brows gradually weakened. She walked to the side of the meeting table. Some fury was leaping within her pretty eyes. She knew that these fellows would definitely not accept Xiao Yin. Even though he had displayed an extremely great strength, these people still could not help but quietly obstruct him. Xun'er, you are a member of our Gu clan. Think more for the Gu clan when you act. Gu Shan's face sunk as he tried to reprimand her. Elder Gu Shan, although I am a member of the Gu clan, there are some things that you should not go overboard with. Our Gu clan has already gained a great advantage on the matter of spots available. Moreover, the spots for the Xiao clan have always been handed to our Gu clan since they left the Central Plains. Putting it this way, our Gu clan has benefited from their favor. Now that Xiao Yin has arrived here after much difficulty, not only do you not plan on returning the spots to him, you even thought about excluding him. Anyone with a conscience would not do such a thing, right? Xun'er glared at Gu Shan. Her words had become extremely stern, causing his face to sink. He found it difficult to form a retort. Xun'er, this place is where the elders discuss various issues. You barging in here has already broken the rules. Gu Qian frowned as he came up with a reply. Elder Gu Qian, Have you forgotten about the authority of the Rainbow Clan tattoo? Xun'er coldly demanded. Gu Qian was startled when he heard this. He immediately felt a little bitter. According to the rules of the Gu clan, any clan member who possessed the Rainbow Clan tattoo would be able to surpass most of the elders in terms of position. Entering this meeting room was not against any rules. All right, stop arguing. Elder Tong Xian knit his brows as he finally opened his mouth and ordered them. The large hall had become much quieter after hearing his voice. Numerous eyes gathered on Elder Tong Xian. It is indeed a little overboard to exclude Xiao. Add him to the name list for this heavenly tomb. Our Gu clan has taken advantage of the Xiao clan spots for many years. It is now time to return them. Moreover, only one Xiao from the Xiao clan has come. Even if we allow him to enter the heavenly tomb, our Gu clan still has 5 spots. This is already quite good. Everyone should not think too much about it. Elder Tong Xian crossed his fingers as his calm voice resounded around the large hall. Gu Shan and some elders frowned when they heard this. However, they could only nod their heads. They understood that Xun'er was in possession of a divine bloodline. Forget about her father being the current clan head. Just this bloodline and the rainbow tattoo caused the weight of her words to become many times heavier. Even experienced elders like them could not reprimand her. Since there are no objections, we will decide to do it like this. The heavenly tomb will open in 2 days. Xun'er, ask Xiao to prepare for it. Elder Tong Xian spoke. Elders, sorry to have disturbed you. Xun'er slightly nodded. She bowed her body in a courteous manner to all the elders seated. After which, she turned around and walked out of the large hall in front of the respectful eyes of the surrounding guards. Quite a number of elders within the hall looked at each other after seeing Xun'er's back disappear. They did not expect Xun'er, who usually did not bother with such matters, to act so forcefully when it came to something related to Xiao. Elder Tong Xian, there is still the tomb of Xiao Xian within the heavenly tomb. Our people have failed to enter that place even now. Gu Shan was quiet for a moment after Xun'er left before involuntarily speaking. Elder Tong Xian could not resist frowning when he heard these words. All of you should not have any thoughts toward the tomb of Xiao Xian. Given his divine abilities back then, if he did not wish others to enter his tomb, then even the clan head would not have a 50% chance of success if he tried to enter. Therefore, you need not waste your efforts. An elderly voice suddenly materialized within the large hall while Elder Tong Xian was frowning. Gu Shan wisely shut his mouth when he heard this voice. Since even this person had spoken, he could only stop thinking about the tomb of Xiao Xian. All right, let's dismiss. The Gu clan has recently invited quite a number of experts. All of you should pay more attention. Do not allow them to disturb the descendant citizens of the Gu clan. Understood. Many elders respectfully replied when they heard these words. After which, they slowly stood up and left the hall one after the other. Elder Tong Xian sat in his seat. He watched this large hall rapidly empty before sighing, "How does the clan leader and the rest view Xiao?" The space in a chair beside the meeting table became distorted after Elder Tong Xian's words sounded. A gray-robed old man slowly appeared. He faintly answered, "He is going to make it big." Oh! Elder Tong Xian raised his brows. It was definitely not easy to get this old fellow with ridiculously high expectations to utter these words. What about the 2 ancient gods' jade? Based on our guesses, it is most likely with Xiao. Things will be somewhat troublesome should this thing end up being taken by the Hun clan. Elder Tong Xian hesitated for a moment before asking. The gray-robed figure's shriveled hand rubbed the armrest of the chair. A moment later, he finally said, "There is no need to be worried. It will be resolved. So it's like this, huh?" Elder Tong Xian nodded and muttered to himself. A faint cloud lingered over a lush green mountain, giving it the appearance of paradise. Xiao Yin used gentle and slow footsteps to walk to the top of the mountain. The injuries and exhaustion within his body had healed. After his physical body had undergone the tempering of Ziyan's dragon phoenix strength, it had become extremely strong. Its ability to recover did not even need mentioning. Xiao Yin allowed the flame mantra to circulate as he slowly walked through the mountain forest. He absorbed the pure energy and let it invade every part of his body. However, Xiao Yan's feet paused while he was immersed in such a state. His shut eyes were swiftly opened. A solemn expression flashed onto his face as he looked at the edge of the mountain road in front of him. A figure was standing with his hands behind his back at that spot. Surprise surged into Xiao Yan's eyes when he looked at that back. From his senses, this person did not even possess the slightest aura. It was as though this person, even the space where he was located, did not exist. However, it was possible for one to ascertain that this was a person when one looked with one's naked eye. These conflicting senses were exceptionally unusual. This junior Xiao Yin is merely passing by. Elder, please forgive me if I have disturbed you. Xiao Yin cupped his hands to this figure and spoke in an exceptionally polite voice, after which he shifted his feet and slowly pulled back. The feeling this person gave him was too strange, causing him to have no choice but to be a little cautious. There is no need to leave. I have been waiting for you here. Xiao Yin had just stepped back when a faint laugh buzzed beside his ear. His eyes became dazzled. The next time he focused his mind, he discovered that he was already at the top of the mountain. Clouds lingered around him, giving it an atmosphere of paradise. However, this caused a chill to rise within Xiao Yan's heart. Just what kind of tactic was this? He had met a countless number of experts over the years. However, this was the first time that he had met someone who could shift his own body without him sensing the changes. Xiao Yin swallowed a mouthful of saliva. He looked straight ahead where a figure was standing with his hands behind him a short distance away. That person did not possess a powerful pressure, but Xiao Yin dared not slight this person even a little. He was certain that the person in front of him was definitely the most terrifying person he had met since his birth. Since Xiao Yin was here, he would not remain horrified. He quickly controlled his emotions. The other party's strength was too frightening. He did not even possess the slightest ability to resist. Hence, he was not worried the other party would do anything to him. By possessing such a strength, all the other party needed to do was to randomly wave a hand, and that would seriously injure him. It was pointless to play all these useless tricks. It is unexpected that the Xiao clan has actually been able to produce such an outstanding young man after its bloodline has been wasted. This has caused me to have no choice but to believe that Xiao Xin's actions were with reason. Xiao Yan's heart felt slightly cold. From this short sentence, he understood that the mysterious person in front of him had been in contact with his ancestor. In other words, the other party was an old demon who had lived an unknown number of years. May I know Elder's name? Xiao Yin respectfully asked. That figure smiled faintly when he heard Xiao Yan's question, after which he slowly turned around. This person appeared to be around 40 years old or so. He looked just like an ordinary middle-aged man. His clothes were ordinary and made of linen. The smile that was appeared on his face caused one to feel somewhat peaceful. This ordinary appearance was somewhat different from what Xiao Yin had imagined in his heart. Before he could recover from this difference, the middle-aged man's next sentence caused him to feel stunned. I am Xun'er's father. Xun'er's father. Xiao Yin was speechless. He had heard Xun'er mention that her father was the Gu clan head and a true peak existence within this world. Now, this peak existence on the Doqi continent had appeared in front of him with an extremely ordinary appearance. That middle-aged man involuntarily laughed when he saw Xiao Yan's lack of expression. He asked, Are you very surprised? Xiao Yin gradually recovered from his shock when he heard this question. He secretly observed the middle-aged man in front of him and dryly laughed. He found that he did not know what to say. In front of this frightening person with overwhelming strength, it was as though any thought that lingered within his heart would be discovered by the other party. Haha, I am called Yuan. Speaking of which, we met when you were born. However, no one knew my identity. The middle-aged man faintly laughed. Xiao was stunned again. He had not expected that he had met this overwhelmingly powerful clan head when he had arrived in this world. May I know what important matter has caused this Gu clan to wait for this junior here? Xiao hesitated a moment before respectfully asking. It is naturally because of the matter between you and Xun'er. Yuan smiled and replied. Xiao heart became slightly stern when he heard this. He involuntarily frowned and said, "Does clan head Yuan not wish for Xun'er to be together with me? This is not my intention. As long as Xun'er is willing, I, as her father, will not force her. Moreover, with her current divine bloodline, even I, this clan head of the Gu clan, will not be able to force her to do anything." Yuan smiled as he continued, "If it is you, you are passable despite not being as strong as the peak of the younger generation from the Gu clan." Xiao was startled when he heard these words. A joy immediately surged within his eyes. Most of the members from the Gu clan in the Gu realm were full of enmity toward him. However, this Yuan in front of him was somewhat beyond his expectations. "Thank you very much, clan head Yuan." Xiao cupped his hands together and joyously spoke. "You should not be in such a hurry to rejoice. Although I will not stop the both of you, some elders of the Gu clan and some even older existences still feel some grudges in regard to this relationship. After all, Xun'er has the divine bloodline that has not appeared within the Gu clan for 1,000 years. They will naturally be unwilling for such a bloodline to become imperfect because of some other thing. Therefore, you will be faced with some hindrances, and it will not be easy. From the perspective of my position as the clan head of the Gu clan, I am unable to provide you much help. After all, the clan head must put the clan ahead," Yuan faintly explained. Xiao was quiet as he nodded. "Of course, other than the position of clan head, I am also Xun'er's father. I will naturally like something as long as it is something she likes." Yuan faintly smiled and said, "I am not too dissatisfied with you. Although the bloodline in your body has been wasted, you are able to rely on your own hard work to achieve something that is not inferior to those who possess a bloodline. This is really admirable. Honestly speaking, if I had known of the results today, I would not have sent Xun'er to the Xiao clan back then. Ugh, it is unexpected that not only did I fail to obtain that thing, I also ended up losing a daughter. This trade is really a great loss." Xiao could only smile awkwardly in the face of such words. He did not dare reply. "I will not intervene in the matter between the two of you. However, I need you to promise me some things." Xiao heart pounded when he heard these words. He carefully asked, "May I know what they are?" "Relax, it is not something that you will find difficult to achieve. I just hope that when you are together with Xun'er in the future, you will allow her to maintain an untouched body before she reaches the Doshan class." Yuan hesitated for a moment as he spoke. Xiao face immediately became embarrassed when he heard this. He had not imagined that the thing that Yuan wanted him to promise was such a ridiculous request. Did he appear like a person who had uncontrolled sexual desires? Haha. A young person will inevitably have moments when one is impulsive. Moreover, the both of you aren't frequently together. Cough. Yuan involuntarily and dryly coughed. He said, "The main thing is that the bloodline within Xun'er's body is unstable, and you are also not a member of the Gu clan. If you randomly perform intercourse, it would damage the bloodline within Xun'er's body. In the event that such a thing occurs, it is likely that those old fellows from the clan will act forcefully. You should be aware of the consequences." Xiao bitterly smiled and nodded. Did this great person appear in front of him in order to talk to him about this somewhat ridiculous matter? This is something that I am only reminding you of in passing. The greatest reason for me to reveal myself is because of the two ancient gods' jade on you. Yuan paused, after which he looked at Xiao and slowly spoke. Xiao expression involuntarily changed when he heard the words two ancient gods' jade. He was naturally aware that this two ancient gods' jade was a precious object within the Xiao clan. The reason that the Hall of Souls had captured his father was because of this mysterious ancient jade piece. However, hardly anyone knew that the ancient jade was with him. The two ancient god was the last Dodi on the Doqi continent. After him, not a single person has managed to reach the level of a Dodi, which exists only in the legends even now. Yuan spoke on his own without being concerned about the change in Xiao expression. It is rumored that when the two ancient god died, he left behind a Dodi remains. Within it contains the secrets of breaking through the Doshan class. No one has discovered the Dodi remains even now. A big battle erupted among the 8 ancient clans and some super factions of the Central Plains many years ago. In the end, they only obtained a key to the remains. The two ancient gods' jade in your hands. This thing is ordinarily divided into 3 pieces, but after experiencing a string of miserable battles, it was divided into 8. Coincidentally, they were obtained by the 8 ancient clans back then. The piece in your hand is one of the 8. Xiao quietly nodded. He was vaguely aware of some of these matters. However, he had always thought that the two ancient gods' jade had only been divided into 3 pieces, but there was actually 8 of them. The reason why the Hall of Souls captured your father is because of the Xiao clan's two ancient gods' jade. Yuan frowned slightly when he mentioned the Hall of Souls. The Hun clan has always been the most strange and mysterious clan among the 8 ancient clans. Back then, the Gu clan and the Xiao clan had joined hands and engaged in a big battle with them. Both parties ended up with their own losses, but we failed to cause the Hun clan too much damage. After which, Xiao became the clan head of the Xiao clan. Originally, we had the opportunity to seriously damage the Hun clan. However, Xiao was eventually surrounded and killed by many experts from the Hun clan. The Xiao clan was hence brought to its knees. Having lost the support of the Xiao clan, the Gu clan was not able to declare war against the Hun clan by itself because everyone knew that both clans would have suffered great losses if we ended up fighting, which would provide the other factions with an opportunity. Hence, things have continued until now. From some of the actions of the Hun clan during these years, they are likely ready to cause trouble again. Hence, this ancient god jade will definitely be their target. If they are allowed to obtain all the ancient god jade, the strength of the Hun clan will definitely soar and break the equilibrium. The expression of Yuan was a little grave as he studied Xiao. He said, "You should know just how important the two ancient god jade is, right?" Xiao slightly nodded. However, an image of an underground magma world suddenly flashed across his heart. That place was the magma world under the Jianan Academy. There was something at the end of the magma that had caused the two ancient god jade in his hand to react. Could it be that the end of the magma world is the hidden location of the Dodi remains? Xiao was contemplating the thought. He got a premonition that the thing at the end of the magma world was definitely extremely important. What is clan head Yuan's intentions? Xiao recovered and slowly asked. Yuan started at Xiao. A moment later, he shook his head and helplessly said, "According to the intention of those old fellows from within the clan, they wish for you to hand the ancient jade in your hands to the Gu clan for safekeeping, but I think that you will be unwilling to hand it over." Xiao gently nodded and replied, "There is the trace of a spiritual imprint of my father within the ancient jade. I need to rely on this to ascertain whether he is alive. Therefore, I will definitely need to keep this ancient jade." The two ancient god jade was the most precious thing of the Xiao clan. If it really came to that time in the future, Xiao would not hesitate even a little if he had to use it to exchange for Xiaozhan. This was a chip. With it in his hands, the Hall of Souls would not kill his father. However, if he handed the ancient jade to the Gu clan, the Hun clan might really end up doing some heartless and crazy things upon knowing that it was hopeless. Yuan seemed to have already expected this answer. Hence, he did not reveal a different expression. All he did was helplessly nod as he said, "I had already guessed this reply." "I'm sorry, clan head Yuan." Xiao apologized. "This suggestion was not made by me to begin with. However, the other old fellows will not easily allow you to bring such an important thing in front of the Hun clan." Yuan shook his head. He waved his hand and said, "Forget it. We will discuss this in the future. The heavenly tomb will open in another 2 days. We will discuss the matter of the ancient jade after you have come out of the heavenly tomb." Xiao nodded. He was just about to reply when the rushing sound of wind suddenly appeared at the foot of the mountain. His eyes immediately followed the sound and looked over, only to see a figure swiftly rushing over. That figure was Xun'er. Ugh, it is really the case of a girl to end up being married off when she matures. Seeing how frantic she is worried that I will do something to you. Yuan helplessly smiled when he saw Xun'er swiftly rushing over. After which, he said more to Xiao, "Let's end our conversation today. Remember the thing that you have promised me. Do not cross the line. Additionally, protect the ancient jade properly." After Yuan's final words sounded, his body slowly disappeared. Xiao involuntarily sighed in relief when he saw Yuan's figure disappear. Subsequently, he turned his head and glanced at the extremely beautiful figure rushing over. Her face was tense, and her pretty eyes were filled with worry. He involuntarily smiled. This girl,